This is the guide to dirty debate tactics. So check out this headline from The Economist that I just saw. American newspapers resoundingly reject Donald Trump. Sounds like they're talking about most American newspapers, right? So I looked into this further, and then it turns out that they were talking about 72 newspapers that rejected Trump. Now 72 must be pretty close to the number of total newspapers in the US, right? So I looked it up. As of 2014, there were 1,331 newspapers in the US. So 72 out of 1,331, I'm not a math wizard, but that's roughly 5% of all the newspapers in the US. I'm not clear what the other 95% of newspapers think. Now, I'm no Donald Trump fan, but what you just saw is an example of a dirty debate tactic called cherry picking. Hey, it's Min from The Art of Verbal War, where people learn to excel in verbal skills. And today's video is called The Guide to Dirty Debate Tactics. Now, my point here is not to endorse Donald Trump. In fact, both sides are looking pretty damn unappealing, aren't they? I'm here today because I want to talk about the subject of dirty debate tactics that people use in debates in general, and since it's election season, I'm going to use the 2016 election to talk about it. Some people call these dirty debate tactics logical fallacies. Now, logical fallacies, that term is just a little too fancy-pantsy for me, so I prefer to just call them dirty tricks. Dirty tricks played by both sides in making arguments for their candidate or against the other candidate. If you want to become a good debater or debate politics, and it's debatable whether debating politics is ever a good idea, then you need to learn these dirty tricks. Why? So you can use them, of course. Okay, I'm just kidding. Mostly, you just need to know these tricks so that you don't get fooled by them. So here are 5 more dirty debate tactics that you must know. Number 1 is what I call sneaky ad hominem attacks. We all know that ad hominem attacks are part and parcel of debates about political candidates. You should always expect others to attack your preferred candidates with mostly irrelevant things about their personality or person, like Trump's hair or that time Hillary fainted. You should always be on the lookout for these types of attacks because they're irrelevant. However, what I mean by sneaky ad hominem attacks is something a little bit different. What I mean is an attack on you personally, usually when you bring up a good point on a political issue. Here's an example. I can't believe you support that issue or candidate. Or, I just lost some respect for you when you said that. Remember this, shaming you is not a legitimate debate tactic. The second dirty debate tactic is the use of double standards or shifting standards. What I mean by double standards or shifting standards is that negative facts are only negative when they're about the other side. Whenever negative facts relate to your opponent's side, you'll find that the standard, and one that was artificially high for your candidate, suddenly disappears. Or the standards that get applied to their preferred candidate gets shifted or changed, and always to a lower standard. The third dirty debate tactic is the use of ambiguous or vague sources, evidence, or facts. Your opponents will use all sorts of anonymous sources or use sources that quote anonymous sources in an attempt to prove their points. Don't trust anonymous sources. If you can't verify who said something, then it might as well have never been said. And often it's made up. Or they'll use ambiguous sources. An example, media outlets have looked into this and debunked it, or all the experts agree. Now, which media outlets or experts were they talking about? And what biases do these media outlets or experts have? And sometimes, and this is really important, even sources, evidence, and facts are misrepresented in order to prove a point. Don't just think about what they're telling you. Make sure you consider what they're not telling you. The fourth dirty debate tactic is what I call quote-unquote knowledge. Often you'll find people stating their beliefs and characterizing them as fact. Your opponent's belief is not a fact. Your opponent's belief is not fact. What they think is also not fact. A sneaky way people use this technique is to say something like, I can't imagine Hillary doing this or that. What someone imagines is also not fact, especially what someone imagines about somebody else's intent. This type of quote-unquote knowledge is not actual knowledge. They aren't facts, they aren't real, and you should never be fooled by it. The fifth dirty debate tactic is the use of irrelevant analogies and metaphors. As I've talked about in the past, using analogy and metaphor is an incredibly powerful persuasion tool. And so on the flip side, it's very easy to get sucked into and be defeated by an analogy or metaphor. So they will seek to use them against you in the hopes that you won't realize it or that you won't know how to defeat it. However, just realize that an analogy or metaphor, no matter how good it sounds, might not actually apply to the real, literal issue at hand. So make sure you keep a keen eye on this tactic and differentiate analogies and metaphors from the issue at hand when they aren't relevant. So there you go. I gave you 6 of the most common 30 debate tactics that people use in political debates or discussions. If you want to learn more about the dirty tricks people use in arguments or debates generally, and not just in political debates, but any type of debate, check out my book, The New Art of Being Right, 38 Ways to Win an Argument in Today's World. Inside, you'll learn 38 of the most common and time-tested methods people use to win debates and arguments. Don't ever be fooled again. To get a free preview, go to www.artofverbalwar.com/AOBR bonus. Okay, that's it for today. Until next time, keep being excellent, and hey, please subscribe to this YouTube.